Graham Frederick Burrough. And this is a story of courage and of love. Graham and I were both born in 1931. Don't do the statistics, I'm 92. And we both grew up in Bridport, although I was born in Yorkshire. But we met at a party, and I fed him pineapple and cheese on sticks, which does rather date us. He had been diagnosed with diabetes when he was about 3 years old. I've got a picture of him as a little baby, smiling at the world. And I thought, my darling, if only you knew what lay ahead of you. Because diabetes, diagnosed in the early 30s, was a dreadful sentence. The treatment with insulin had only been discovered a few years beforehand, and life was very difficult for him. And he was sent away to school. Can you imagine it? He had to go to a boarding primary school and to public school, and he became so hungry, he said he used to eat the toothpaste because they didn't know how to feed him properly. Anyway, I mustn't take too long. I broke my watch just before I came, which is tough on you. I shan't know the time. Dear Graham, we met at a party because his sight by then, in his early 20s, was failing. And he discovered that, in fact, I had a car and I could drive. So our first date was the sound of music in Bournemouth. How romantic that could be. And it went on from there. We went on picnics and we did some courting at his uncle's farm, which is at Woodspring, which is near Weston-super-Mare. His uncle was a wonderfully tough, cross farmer. You say, get off my land. So we got married. Things were difficult, quite difficult, because Graham began to show the stress of his illness, and he began to have mental health problems. Before that, I remember he did actually take up wildlife sound recording, and he won a national competition. He became very interested in sound recording. He actually did a recording of swans flying along the Chesil Bank, and you could hear them gradually coming, more and more distinct, the beating of wings, and then fading into the distance. And that recording we used at his memorial service. He died when he was 66. He made many good years, really, thinking of all the problems that he had. But to go on to after we lost him, I wanted him to be remembered in some way. I discovered that he left quite a lot of money. I didn't know what to do with it. I wasn't skilled in buying fast cars or going around the world or having posh swimming pools. I didn't want any of that. I just wanted him to be remembered and for the money to be useful. So we set up a charity in his name, the Graham Burrough Charitable Trust, which ran for about 20 years. And we made lots and lots of grants. Some of them were to a cherry tree nursery in Bournemouth, similar to the sort of work that you're doing, because it was set up to help people with mental health problems. Because Graham did, in fact, suffer quite badly towards the end of his life. He became very distressed. It was all to do with the diabetes. But then the years went by, and I had another birthday and another birthday, and I thought, what is going to happen to this trust when I'm no longer here? So there were great debates. I had enormously wonderful professional help from accountants and lawyers, and we discussed it, and perhaps there was one way of it being continued, and I didn't know quite how to go about it. I'm going to read you. I know it's a bit boring being read to, but I'm going to read the last piece. I spent several anxious weeks trying to decide, and I can't remember. I had a list of charities that I felt drawn to and would like to split this fund between. And I thought, I don't know. I can't remember whether it was a trustee or myself that spotted community fund from the lists that I had made. Reading the small print, I realised that this was the answer, the complete, right and perfect answer. Money to the two counties that meant the most to me, so it was split between Dorset and Somerset. To just help local folk, because towards the end of our trust, the family trust, I had been drawn to giving to more local charities and to smaller enterprises, not the big boys, but the small enterprises, the little groups, starting a drop-in centre, doing something little, hoping to make it grow. Important in significance, to support and grow and show faith in small enterprises. There was lots more hard work from my advisors, and finally Graham's name was added to all the other benevolent names that make up the Somerset Community Foundation. Half the funds having gone to Dorset, as I've already said, and to one particular enterprise, which is in Bridport, where we both grew up. Somerset Community Foundation makes a difference for a lot of people and is the perfect vehicle, I think, for smaller, non-fundraising memorial charities to be either transferred or set up, knowing that their future will be well managed and secure, or for any bequest to go straight to your local community. That decision has always felt absolutely right to me. I'm so grateful to the Community Foundation, and in fact, they will be mentioned in my will, but not just yet. Thank you for listening.